Why is it that America is building more housing than it has in over a decade, and yet an entire generation still can't find a home to raise a family in? If you look at any fast-growing city right now, you'll see cranes everywhere. But look closer at what's actually going up. It's almost never a house, and it's rarely even a real family-sized apartment. It's studios. Endless towers of studios. This isn't anecdotal. According to recent housing data, buildings with 50 or more units now make up a record share of new construction, and the majority of those units are studios or one-bedrooms. Three-bedroom units, the kind a family actually needs, now make up a smaller share of new housing than at almost any point on record. So is this just because young people can't afford kids, like politicians keep telling us, and we need more subsidies and more government-run housing to fix it? Yeah, no, not exactly. The real explanation is a straightforward supply distortion, and government policy is making it worse, not better. After the 2008 crash, developers pivoted hard toward small rental units built for single professionals. That made sense at the time, but over a decade later, builders never adjusted, even as that same generation aged into their 30s and started wanting space for kids. Developers just kept stamping out the same studio floor plan, regardless of what the market actually needed next. Part of the reason is that housing policy in almost every city counts units, not bedrooms. A developer gets the same credit for building 50 studios as they would for 20 family-sized 3-bedrooms, so naturally they build whichever is cheaper and faster. The incentive is backwards, and builders are just responding rationally to the rules they've been given. You can see this logic taken to its most absurd extreme in cities where politicians promise the opposite of a real fix. I'm freezing your rent as the next mayor of this city. That's not a housing policy. That's a way to guarantee even less housing gets built, since nobody develops property they can't profit from. Meanwhile, the actual fixes are sitting right there. Repeal parking minimums that scale unit cost with bedroom count. Stop counting senior-only studios as affordable family housing, and rewrite tax credits to reward developers for adding bedrooms instead of just adding doors. None of this requires new taxpayer money. It requires local governments to stop rewarding the wrong behavior. As Milton Friedman once put it, if you reward people for doing something, don't be surprised when they do more of it. Right now, cities are rewarding micro-units and calling it progress. You can't tell an entire generation to have more kids, while every zoning rule, tax credit, and construction incentive quietly tells them there's nowhere to put a crib. Fix the incentives, and the housing follows. Until then, the best thing most local governments could do is sit down, shut up, and get out of the way.